Greetings all! Today we'll be examining the relatively common water dark type Pokemon Carvanha, the Savage Pokémon, and its relatively uncommon evolution Sharpedo, the Brutal Pokémon. Vicious to the extreme, and more than capable of making themselves into a threat worth fearing, the members of the Carvanha family are brutal creatures that can make life painful and miserable for anyone that dares to try and take them on.
Carvanha have semi-spherical bodies with red scales on the underside and blue scales on the top of their form, the colors being separated by their jawline. They have yellow fins on the top, bottom, and sides of their form, as well as a large tail fin with a red rim at its base, and their red eyes stare out viciously above their jagged mouth and the pair of large lower canines that jut out from their bottom jaw. Their evolved form, Sharpedo, have a grayish-white underbelly with a blue top, their snout being marked with a yellow scar cross. The pelvic and dorsal fin have a series of notches in them, while the pectoral fins are in one piece, and the red eyes stare out from specialized slots near the gills, their mouth and the numerous sharp teeth held inside of it being hidden on their underside and only revealed when they go in for a bite. Lastly, it is noted that these creatures have access to a mega evolution, and in this state, their bodies are covered in numerous yellow scar marks of toughened skin from their fins to the underside of their mouth, and they develop a series of extendable tooth plates on their snout that can be raised in order to increase the power of their ramming strikes. Although Carvanha generally only populate the warm waters of tropical and subtropical environments, these ravenous creatures have managed to find their way into major watersheds all over the world. The only environment that they haven't fully adapted to yet is the ocean, as they are still freshwater fish and have a low salinity tolerance, though the species as a whole is starting to make the transition at the moment and thus rarely shows up in some pockets of salt water, where their evolved form Sharpedo tend to thrive. As such, while the populations tend to be a bit limited outside of these environments, Sharpedo are found almost exclusively in saltwater habitats, where they have plenty of space and prey to hunt at their leisure.
This may be directly related to their attitude towards hunting, as Sharpedo are well known for using reckless and violent attacks against larger prey in an attempt to surprise and kill them before they can lash out.
Although Sharpedo do not possess enough stamina to swim for very long distances or resist damage from attacks, their incredible speed and brute strength is more than enough to win most battles. By drinking in seawater and expelling it from their behinds, Sharpedo can utilize their Aqua Jet attack to slam into opponents at speeds of up to 75 miles per hour, usually enough to break bones and most weak armor, which can in turn be used by trainers to surf around at breakneck speeds unseen among almost all of the water-type Pokemon before finishing off their target with their massive fangs.
This incredible movement speed is mainly due to their skin, which is designed to minimize drag as much as possible while in the water. Relatively few others are glad that Carvanha and Sharpedo are like this, however, as it also grants them the rough skin ability as their only base ability.
Despite the fact that they are sharks, the only water-type moves that Carvanha and Sharpedo learn naturally are the Aqua Jet and Liquidation attacks, and few water-type specialists are able to properly handle these creatures because of this issue, so they are usually a rare sight in serious combat. What they lack in water-type offense and defense, however, these creatures easily make up for in sheer physical strength and agility, the latter emphasized in their possession of the Speed Boost ability as a hidden ability. As far as the stats go in the case of Sharpedo, these creatures are the living definition of a glass cannon, as while their frail bodies do not have a ton of stamina to work with and do not have the capacity to take much in the way of damage, their base HP defense and special defense stats being below average for a fully evolved water and dark type Pokemon, their offensive power and agility more than break the base, with their base attack, special attack, and speed stats all being above average for a fully evolved Pokemon of both of their types. They might not be all that resilient, but these beasts can more than deliver a beatdown and prove to be a serious threat to have to contend with in any conflict. Carvanha possess extremely strong jaws and thick, durable teeth, sharp enough to slice cleanly through bolt holes, even if they have been reinforced with aluminum or steel. While the original purpose of this incredible strength is still a relative mystery, it nonetheless means that Carvanha are extremely dangerous to be around. Whenever something enters their territory, or when the slightest trace of blood is smelled by them, large numbers of Carvanha will swarm the intruder and/or source of detached blood and literally tear it to pieces with their massive fangs. At full force, a school of Carvanha can reduce a small boat to splinters within a few seconds, leaving whatever hapless creatures that may be inside at the mercy of their ravenous hunger, and rendering most sailors terrified of accidentally running into Carvanha. Although Carvanha are highly competitive and prefer to stay by themselves, the overbearingly territorial nature causes them to band together in packs of at least 5 members, though usually many more, in order to destroy any boat's lifeforms that enter their territory, in particular Pokemon like Basculin, which often compete with them over the same food resources. While present in large numbers, these creatures are capable of viciously destroying and dismembering anything that gets in their path. As such, it is almost impossible to find a single wild Carvanha at any time or place. However, because Carvanha possess incredibly low defenses, they become timid when alone and will usually choose to run away if directly confronted.
Much like their pre-evolved form, Sharpedo possess incredibly strong jaws and teeth sharp enough to slice through iron sheets like they were paper. Unlike Carvanha though, their teeth grow back instantly if they snap off, so nothing is truly capable of outlasting their attacks forever. Their general resilience often leads many, in fact, to make their broken and discarded teeth into accessories, believing that they will keep them safe from mishaps at sea.
Further, unlike Carvanha, Sharpedo are large and strong enough to survive relatively easily on their own, so they are almost never seen among members of their own species. Sharpedo also have no need to be territorial because they mainly roam the seas as they wish, hunting whatever prey happens to be within their reach. This sort of tactic rarely proves to be an issue for Sharpedo, as their reputation precedes them everywhere. No matter where you go in the world, wild Pokemon fear Sharpedo because of their ruthless nature and barbaric hunting styles. These monsters will gladly devour anything from the old and dying to the newly born, and are sensitive enough to the smell of blood that they can smell injured prey from about a quarter of a mile away, making it unlikely that an injured prey item is going to be able to sneak by them undetected. Unfortunately, this ruthless nature often puts Sharpedo into direct contact with humans aboard large sailing vessels and even oil tankers, which rarely goes well for the people. If Sharpedo become agitated enough, or even just feel like it, they will attack everything in sight without exception, even if it isn't edible. A single determined Sharpedo can easily reduce a super tanker to scrap metal if even slightly agitated, so people and Pokemon alike tend to scatter when their volatile tempers flare up. Perhaps not surprisingly, their violent nature and cruel actions have led many people to nickname Sharpedo the Bully of the Sea, a truly fitting title given their mannerisms and behavior.
This is also part of the reason why, in the past, these creatures were sadly hunted to the state of being endangered due to overfishing with little care, as the fins on them were once a prime ingredient in the most exquisite examples of shark fin soup to ever be made. New regulations over the last few decades have helped them recover to healthy population numbers again, much to the chagrin of some fishermen and beachgoers.
It is finally interesting to note that evolution from Carvanha enables Sharpedo to utilize a host of nasty moves that are otherwise inaccessible to their pre-evolved form due to mental and anatomical differences, namely the slash attack immediately after evolving and the night slash attack with a bit of artificial help. It is lastly noted that Sharpedo is one of only a select number of species of Pokemon known to be capable of undergoing Mega Evolution. With a Sharpedo clutched in its jaw, Mega Evolution does not radically change the form of these beasts, but it does increase their size considerably and make them even more of a dire threat than ever before by heavily reinforcing their teeth and jaw structure, making it possible for them to bite and crunch through even the thickest of steel plates with little trouble, and in turn devour just about any living creature that they decide to target for a meal. Their ability to move through the water is increased dramatically by the development of a series of special air bladder-like organs in their back half that can store enormous amounts of water pressure before being released, rocketing these creatures from 0 to 125 miles per hour in an instant. Moreover, their longer snouts are outfitted with a series of retractable tooth plates, formed from mutated fangs in their upper jaw and hardened to the point of being even denser than bone. While these teeth are usually hidden in the interior of their snout, when Sharpedo prepare to ram large objects, they project the teeth outward the moment after they release a burst of compressed water from their bodies, increasing the overall size of the hole they leave after ramming, and in turn heavily magnifying the damage they can do. The yellow scar-like patterns on their body are actually spots where their outer layer of flesh has been reinforced from within as a result of constant fighting and scar healing, enabling them to take more damage than normal while doing so in style. However, the structure of the scar tissue makes it a perfect conduit for Mega Evolution energy, causing the overflowing energy to run through the tissue and cause sharp pain and suffering that agitates Mega Sharpedo immensely. Overall, these monsters are far fiercer in terms of the intensity of their combative instincts compared to the normal form, and can be extremely difficult to train and control in battle, but those that can will find great favor with the speed and severity with which Mega Sharpedo can defeat the opposition. In terms of stats, the overall change in their body structure has the effect of slightly increasing Mega Sharpedo's base speed stat, moderately increasing the base attack and special attack stats, and considerably increasing the base defense and special defense stats. In addition, the reinforcement of their jaw structure allows these beasts to bite down with substantially more power than normal without suffering severe jaw injuries, effectively granting them the strong jaw ability and enabling them to easily make the most of attacks like bite and crunch.
Though they might not exactly be able to take much of a hit in practice, the members of the Carvanha family are vicious creatures that can more than make the life of others a nightmare if they can't withstand their powerful attacks. You'll have to focus on hitting as hard as possible to avoid receiving terrible retribution from others, but with some of the potent attacks these creatures can wield, that might not be a huge problem so long as you can keep them on target and ready for anything.
Just do yourself a favor and make sure to always watch where you're swimming when out in the ocean where they often dwell. Being near Carvanha can be dangerous enough, but without much land to find safety on, you might be little more than a sitting duck against their evolved form. A duck that's likely to become their lunch in a heartbeat.
Thank you all for watching this video. It is always a pleasure to help teach others about the world of Pokemon and the many facets of it that exist in both the world we call home and the world they call home. If you'd like, please leave a comment and subscribe and ring the bell to this channel to get regular updates on content and anything else that might be going on. You can find me and my written work on DeviantArt under the name Utitus and be informed of information and content uploads on my Twitter page and my Patreon page. Donations are always welcome. Always remember, the world of Pokemon is a vast and varied place, and there's no telling what secrets might be hiding just around the corner. So keep watch, stay vigilant, and always prepare for the unexpected. Until next time, have a wonderful rest of the day.